Hey everyone, Fabio Palvelli here with a new video. It is so nice to see you again. What's up? Today we will talk about project management in ArchViz. This is a very interesting topic because when most companies try to scale up, they hit a wall because of the lack of a project management process in place that allows them to expand and grow. If you do not have a project manager at your studio, I think you better listen up. And if you do, then just keep watching because I think you might find a few tricks on how to improve your process. If you work in the field of architectural visualization, you probably noticed that many studios don't have a dedicated project manager on their team. Another important thing to say is that often in this field, the process of art direction and the process of project management are often confused with one another. Offices make the mistake to overlap these processes in a way that it's counterproductive and that delays the delivery of work to the client, as well as making artists really frustrated. We will talk about art direction in ArchViz in a future video, so make sure that you follow this channel to stay up to date with our content. So we were saying project management and ArchViz. Usually, at least at the beginning of starting a company, it's the business owner who manages all tasks related to account and project management, art direction, production, and general business administration. Instead, the artists themselves have to handle client communication, project coordination, client feedback, and all those nitty-gritty details related to the creation of images, animations, and so on and so forth. So basically, a lot of the project management roles are split between artists and business owners, making the management of a project a blurred process that exists somehow within the team and for which everyone in the company is somehow responsible. This system can work in small organizations, and it's often decided to manage a creative business this way to retain as much control as possible over the production. But this setup might be possible when offices work mainly with architects on competition images. But if you also work in real estate, where there are usually larger scopes, this method will be ineffective. And if you are thinking of scaling up your operation and growing your company, you will run into issues pretty quickly. With that said, you can still have a project manager overlooking the production process, even if working on architectural competitions. In larger ArchViz companies, say 10-15 people and up, project management is handled by dedicated project managers called PMs. A PM ensures that the agreed upon scope is delivered on time, they manage scheduling, and they keep projects on budget. They assign the tasks to 3D artists and they communicate with clients to gather their feedback. In rare cases, especially in larger productions, you might also need a producer. Producers are creatives who manage projects externally, interfacing with clients and coordinating with vendors. However, unless you're in a movie production or working for an advertising agency, you're unlikely to encounter producers in ArchViz. It can happen, but it's unlikely. Key tasks in managing an ArchViz project include discussing the brief with the client and communicating the scope to the artists, creating a timeline to monitor production and avoid budget overruns, distributing tasks among artists, conducting regular checks to ensure timely delivery, providing feedback to artists and art directors to align work with clients' expectations, sending previews to the clients for feedback, discussing clients' feedback with the relevant artists, delivering the project on time and on budget. There are essentially two ways project managers can organize production. The first, which is the more traditional one if you like, is to structure the production into smaller teams. Each team is composed of artists with different experience levels. For example, you could have 2 seniors, 2 mids, and 2 juniors in one team. This team can be supervised by one PM, and it might work on multiple projects simultaneously. A PM might oversee more than one team depending on the workload. Supporting production, there are also additional roles like art directors who ensure the visual quality and good storytelling of a project, as well as technical specialists for tasks like simulation or parametric modeling, for example. These specialists might also assist multiple teams at the same time. Another way to manage the production process is to use the entire pool of artists freely without an enclosed team and to have project managers managing the actual projects and move the resources around according to the needs of the different project. This method is borrowed directly from the software development industry, and it's very effective, but it requires a good centralization system of all the information related to each single project. This is a new method that is getting slowly adopted by more and more firms. A good project manager will be a creative person who has a few years of experience in managing people. So people skills are so important. PMs need a good understanding of the technical side of the job in order to know what can be done with the tools that the artists have available, and more importantly, if the work can be done according to the given timeline. Project managers need to have a good eye for details and for aesthetics, and they need to have the ability to understand what it is that the client wants, and more importantly, they're capable to explain it to the artist. Trust me, artists and clients are two individuals who are very far from each other on the human spectrum, so communication is such an important skill. They also need to stand their ground if clients come in with requests that are damaging to the project. They need to know how to push back, because I can tell you, I've worked in the past with project managers who made me work more than necessary simply because they were not capable to say no to things that clients were asking that were never supposed to happen. They also need to have great time management skills, but we will expand a bit on time tracking in a second. Emails are the primary communication tool, serving as a record of clients' instructions, while tools like Slack or WhatsApp may be used for quicker communication among team members. Important changes must be communicated via email to maintain clarity. Project managers need to also understand the importance to limit client access to the production process, just so to avoid micromanagement. Clients should only see work at pre-established stages. We will talk more about the different phases of realization of a project in future videos. Now, tools like Review Studio or Frame.io, they can help streamlining feedback, replacing old methods of scribbling on printouts, which often led to lost and unorganized feedback. These tools are not free, but they're totally worth it. As we already mentioned, project managers need to have great time management skills. Time tracking is a tool that allows you to know whether or not a project is making money. For example, if your operation costs 10K a month and you have 5 artists working in production, each artist needs to produce 2K worth of work per month. If a project pays 10K and it lasts a month, you must complete it within the time to break even. Finishing early will allow you to start new projects, whilst delays effectively will cost you money. This is of course a super simple example, but as operations scale up, managing time becomes more complex due to factors like holidays, artists who might get sick, clients' delays, extra feedback, changes of order. A PM must be really good at reallocating resources and adjusting timelines to avoid wasted billable hours. In my experience, this process needs quite a bit of iteration for every single company, since this is a creative service industry and the variables can be infinite from one company to another. ArchViz is a great tool to track production times. This is what we currently use here at the Digital Bunch. Artists are required to clock in the hours spent on each single project. This gives us an overview of how profitable a given project is, or if we're losing money on it. This information helps us understanding how to quote projects based on what clients usually need. If a particular client takes on average way more time to finish a project, we of course reflect that in their quotes. We also dropped clients because ArchViz showed us that it was just not feasible to work with them. This is in a nutshell project management for ArchViz. There is actually way more that could be discussed. Each one of these topics that I have talked about could have a chapter of their own. Also, different firms do things differently, and actually I would be happy if you are a project manager and you share your experience with us here in the comment section. As always, if you need help with your ArchViz company and you're trying to scale up your operation, I can of course help. Send me a message and let's talk. Thanks a lot for watching. I hope you guys learned something and see you next time.